Tu then dang goi nai tren mep joong ban. Ga foot ban vo lay cheek dien thoi, ban de tu ket lu doi min. Be mat dam mao o koi video se la not dao duwe not cat that keep no lunai. Dam tru lai den kung de zem kong. Ban ko bao geo tu hoi, nait sai koen kok ban vo mo mat chop chop veo bui sang, truok ca kai ban kip vuan vai, ban de by tuok dot di Thursday qui gia not qua doi nuoi chua. Kong Phi La Tien Bac, Kong Phi La Ko Hoi, Mala Chin Sai Gwin Doak Lam Mot Con Nuoi Tu Du. Hung Tru Kuniguai Kia Dang Tuk De Moi Gay Trong Hin Hai Qua Mot Tsai Zak Kong Han, Mot Con Roy by Jai De Boi and Hung Thuat Ton Mao Lan Va and Hung Tap Ri Tien Qua Mot Xa Hoi Dang Fat Diem. Ho by Dan Kap Su Tap Trung Nai Tren Chin Cheek Joang Qua Min. Vat sai gia phi tra kong chi la emotige toi te, ma la emoti kuak doi that by tone tap, emoti tsai on tu hin tu tu cho chin tom han ho. Nu ban dang cam thay rung min vi bong dong min lon quat dao du trong su tri tre nai, ti he ni no lai. Chow mung ban buk veo ran gioi sin tu qua tom tri. Kuak phao thuat lot zak ge ham ne se kong ko thuak te dao, no se dao don, ton kok, and hung no la ko hoi duwe not de ban jiat lai gwin lam chu truok kai by kuok doi nai engian nat. Hey non lai den en hung ga foot koi kung qua video nai, boi tsai bi mat twa sat vok tran se din dot vik ge my ban tuk de la mo 6 tuong oai hung, hey tip tuc lam emoticon no lumon wa cho ge dap chiu. Truok kai chung ta buk veo van kuok kok lit nai, on em hay nen nai mo fat veo nut dang ky kenda ang ho twa, du chin la ongwan dong luk mau lua not de twa tip tuc boc tach and hung su that tran tri va mang den cho on em and hung vu kai tin then hang nong trong tuong lai. Luv wong travok 05 men chow qui 6. Va kak ban, and hung nuoi on em kong cam chiu song mot kuok doi tam bo. Ban ko gwin luk doi voi tom tri qua min, kong phi doi voi kak su kien ben niguai. Hey nan ra junai, va ban se tim thay suc man. Marcus Aurelius, 6 seplon 6 di bac not qua lama, de buong emotico rat nuak mat nu the tu gon hai non nam truak. Ve ma nin lai on em chung ta zem. Song outside the ky 21 han hoang nai, mang tiang la tien bo, and hung tsai dao ti lai de cho du Thursday rac roy tren kong john mang dat mui. Tri neo qua ban dang by dem ra dao jia tung foot tren kak nin tang so. Nu ban kong thiat quan lut duak tsai tom tri qua min nai tu ga foot dao ti animo mat, ti twa noi tang, kuok doi ban zak din luk vo mom. Ham ne, twa kong goi de ru on em koen chan hit though, Angui muin hang muoi roi mong mo vmo ti Thursday ben yen mao hong jia tau. Tuet doi kong. De la mot ban chien loak tuk dung den ton nan, mot kuok tai ka truk lai ton bot sai hidu han bui sang qua on em bang triad ly kok ky ko zat voi tu duwe lok loi qua dan kindon. De den luk kat na it sai dien tho id. Dap tat moi tab jai tri vo bo va don 200% sin luk veo and hung gi sap doakemo xe. Chung ta phi bat dao tu tsai gok ri sao tam not, Thursday ma nuoi not goi la Ikigai, tsai ly du toi thuong de ban let zak ra koi jong moi sang thay vi nam yun ra du cho gay, dang zut, koi tsai server tray dat nai. And hung hoi oi, len mang ma zem. Sai Ikigai bai geo dang by dam, moi mom, lang man hoa ton mot tro hiudat. Ho sui ban goi dui gok ke hoa on dao nam mat tim dam mi. Vo van. Ikigai, kai duak en hung veo tsai tu duwe tuk chien lan lung qua sep lon Marcus Aurelius ve nia vu sin tun, no phi la mot ban kuhoch kin don sak lem cho chin mang. Song qua ban. No la diem jiao thoa boc lua qua ban yu de cuc ky tuk dung, sai ban dam mi den chai ruat gan, sai ban lam gioi dan muc thien ha phi angwak nin, sai mat sai exe hoi con keep nai dang gao da kan den, va tuk ti not, sai phi da ra dong tien rung rin de ban kong by chet doi truok kai kip 6 die. Hey nin nai Aurelius. All nai la hong de qua cmot koi. Gwyn Luke Ngap Troy, TNBAC Chat Nui. All nai hon ton ko Gwyn Vui Min Trong Chan Lua Den Trua, and no du nuoi how boc san va mak zak tsai de che la ma dang lung le nguai kia ra sa tra and hung all nai de lam gi. Moi mo sang, all nai tu va veo mat min bang mot men len ton kok qua ly tri, toi tuk de lam tsong vi qua mot con nuoi, tai sa toi phi fan non kai toi doak sin ra de lam vik nai. On em thate sai tam qua nuoi lam chu chua. Du lot sai tu duwe, bo qua din. Kai ban tim ra doak sai ikigai tuk dung qua min, tiang chuang bao tuk kong con la tiang that qua kain guk, ma no la tiang to va hoi tuk ban lao ra chien truong de kien tau di sam. Hey nam mat lai va tu van luong tom min zem. Sang ne on em jiat min ten giak v tsai gi. Vnoim on sep tru luong. V so tre gio quet the mat not thang chien can. Nu dong luk song qua on em chi mong man va han mon den, ti tin and qua on em truok sao gi kung, hio. Phi dao zoi cho bang duok tsai jiao dm tu than kia. Dam mi in gut troi ma kong da ra tien ti chi la lam tu tien mong du, kim duok tien ma kong ko ky nong he mot chut rung dong dam mi ti ban dang tu ban reton swan de di lam no la vui dap chin min. Con nu ky nong ban gioi, tien ban kim duok, and hung xa hoi no tien hoa va kong kan ban nua, ti sa muon gi dam ai nguai kia no kung. Nak nuoi ban ra koi kuok choi. Bat buk phi lin tuc toi uu hoa bon sai vong tron sin tu I. Tu ga foot nai trod, hey tu koi band and min la mot tap don de quoc gia dang trenda but fa. Bui sang tin swang chin la bui hop dai hoi dong ko dong quan trong not trong gay, noi ko dong duwei not va gwin luke not la chin ban. Ban phi dung truok wong va dan thep bout sao zem ham nate sai tap don mang ten ban se song chet beat sai ly du 6 dino. Nu mom ban ap ung kong tra loi duok, timwa ky nong quan tri thoi john he dam ba sai thoi quen nuoi ton song ma on em dang ko du tren nguai kia kung chila Thursday rong tuch, re tien va va di. Kong ko muc dike loi. Moi su koi dao chi la mot ku truat di veo vuk tam qua su vionia. But knowing that profound purpose means absolutely nothing if, the very second you open your eyes, you willingly hand the keys of your mental kingdom over to the enemy. The moment that alarm rings, a silent, invisible war begins in the microscopic space between your bed sheets and the glowing rectangle sitting on your nightstand. I am talking about your smartphone, the ultimate weapon of mass distraction, a digital parasite meticulously engineered by billionaires in Silicon Valley to hijack your dopamine receptors before your feet even touch the bedroom floor. If your first instinct upon waking is to roll over, grab that device, and start scrolling through the curated, fake lives of strangers or the toxic sludge of overnight news, you have already lost the day. You have surrendered your autonomy. You are no longer the CEO of your own existence, you have demoted yourself to a mindless consumer, a data point in an algorithm designed to milk your attention for ad revenue. Think about the sheer insanity of this modern habit. You have just emerged from the subconscious realm, your brain is in a highly suggestible, fragile state of theta waves, essentially a blank canvas waiting for the day's first brushstroke. And what do? You violently smear it with the anxieties, opinions, and emergencies of the outside world. Seneca warned us that we are tight-fisted with our property and our money, yet we think too little of wasting time, the one thing about which we should all be the toughest misers. When you start your morning reacting to the digital noise, you are bleeding out your most valuable cognitive capital. You are experiencing a digital lobotomy that shatters your focus, spikes your cortisol, and leaves you operating in a perpetual state of scattered, anxious reactivity. How can you possibly build an empire, forge a legacy, or even just put food on the table with a mind that has been fractured into 1,000 pieces before 7 a.m.? To reclaim your humanity, you must establish an impenetrable quarantine zone around the first hour of your day. This is the Stoic fortress of solitude. No emails. No social media. No messaging apps. Nothing that demands a reaction from you. This hour is sacred ground, and trespassing is punishable by failure. I want you to wake up and step into the absolute, terrifying silence of the early morning. It will feel uncomfortable at first. You will feel the phantom itch in your fingers, the withdrawal symptoms of a society addicted to cheap stimulation. Let it itch. Let the silence wash over you until it strips away the noise and leaves you alone with your raw, unfiltered thoughts. This is the space where real power is forged. During this hour, you are not a cog in the societal machine, you are an apex predator surveying the landscape before the hunt. You hydrate, you move your body to violently wake up your nervous system, and you breathe. You take oxygen into your lungs not just as a biological necessity, but as a deliberate act of taking up space in this world. This physical awakening is the prerequisite for the mental martial arts that must follow. You are recalibrating your neurochemistry, flushing out the sleep inertia, and grounding yourself in the undeniable reality of the present moment. If you can master the discipline to completely ignore the digital noise for just 60 minutes, you build a psychological armor that the rest of the world cannot penetrate. You transition from being a victim of circumstance to a master of your own attention. You step into the light not as a reactive slave to your inbox, but as a sovereign individual, fully armed and ruthlessly focused on the singular mission that you defined in your boardroom of the soul. Once you have successfully defended the fortress of your mind from the morning's cheap distractions, you must not merely sit in the silence, you must weaponize it. This is where we deploy the most unforgiving psychological tactic in the Stoic arsenal, a practice known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Modern self-help gurus will tell you to stand in front of a mirror, force a fake smile, and recite empty affirmations about how the universe is conspiring to hand you wealth and happiness. That is toxic positivity, a dangerous delusion that leaves you completely naked and vulnerable the moment reality punches you in the mouth. The business world does not care about your affirmations. The market is a sociopath, it will devour the weak without a second thought. If you want to survive, let alone conquer, you must stop visualizing unrealistic perfection and start drafting a blueprint for absolute chaos. Grab a physical pen and a notebook. This is not a diary for you to bleed out your feelings, this is a tactical briefing. I want you to look at the day ahead and aggressively imagine everything that could possibly go wrong. Visualize your biggest client pulling out of the deal at the last second. Imagine your business partner betraying you. Picture the marketing campaign you poured your soul into crashing and burning, yielding zero return on investment. See your technology failing, your flight getting delayed, the people you rely on proving themselves incompetent. Marcus Aurelius did this every single morning, reminding himself that he would meet with the meddling, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the dishonest, the jealous, and the surly. He was the most powerful man on the planet, yet he actively conditioned his mind to expect betrayal and disaster. Why? Because when you have already lived through the worst-case scenario in the theater of your mind, the actual event loses its power to destroy you. This is the ultimate risk management strategy for the human soul. When you anticipate the storm, you are no longer a victim caught off guard by the rain, you are the captain who already battened down the hatches. By writing down these potential catastrophes, you strip them of their emotional venom. You look at the disaster on paper, and instead of panicking, your entrepreneurial brain kicks into overdrive. You ask yourself, if this happens, what is my pivot? What is the countermeasure? You develop contingencies. You build emotional calluses. You realize that a lost deal is not a fatal wound, it is just a variable in the equation of business. You realize that a treacherous colleague is not a reflection of your worth, but a flaw in their character that you can now navigate around. This dark visualization creates an incredibly powerful psychological byproduct, invincibility. When you walk out of your front door having already faced the demons of failure, bankruptcy, and humiliation in your mind, you walk with a terrifying swagger. Nothing the day throws at you can shock you, because you have already seen it. You have already processed the grief, formulated the strategy, and moved past it before you even had your first cup of coffee. While your competitors are running around with their hair on fire at the first sign of supply chain disruption or market volatility, you are standing there ice cold, executing your backup plan with lethal precision. You transform from a fragile optimist hoping for the best into a battle-hardened realist prepared to dominate the worst. This is how you build a mind that cannot be broken. Anticipating the storm is the mark of a strategist, but stepping into the pouring rain to execute your plan is the hallmark of a conqueror. All the profound purpose and strategic pessimism in the world amount to absolutely zero if they are not followed by relentless, violent action. This is the crucible where the philosophical musings end and the brutal alchemy of execution begins. It is time to embrace amor fati, the love of your fate. This does not mean passively accepting whatever garbage life throws your way, it means fiercely embracing every obstacle, every drop of sweat, and every agonizing hour of work as the exact fuel you need to forge your greatness. You don't just tolerate the grind, you devour it. You recognize that the friction of the struggle is the only thing that creates the spark of genius. The strategy for this execution phase is brutally simple, yet so fiercely difficult that 99% of society will never achieve it: eat the frog. Attack the hardest, most intimidating, most mentally taxing task of your day first. Do not ease into your morning by answering meaningless emails or organizing your desk. That is fake work. That is your weak, comfort-seeking brain playing a trick on you, giving you a false sense of productivity while you actively procrastinate on the things that actually move the needle. You know exactly what that one massive task is. It is the proposal you are terrified to write. It is the cold call to the investor who might reject you. It is the complex coding problem that makes your head thrap. Whatever it is, you must hunt it down and slaughter it before the clock strikes noon. To do this, you must enter a state of deep, unadulterated work. You lock the door. You put on noise-canceling headphones. You treat any interruption as an act of treason against your future self. For 90 to 120 minutes, you apply suffocating, laser-like pressure to that single task. This is where you leverage the peak cognitive energy you preserved by avoiding the dopamine trap earlier. In this state of flow, you are not just working, you are bending reality to your will. You are taking the abstract concept of your Ikigai and hammering it into tangible, monetary value. When you conquer that massive task first thing in the morning, a profound psychological shift occurs. You experience a massive, organic surge of dopamine, not the cheap, synthetic kind you get from social media, but the earned, powerful neurochemistry of a victor. Once the hardest battle is won, the rest of the day becomes a downhill victory lap. You have established a momentum so ferocious that no office politics, no minor setbacks, and no fatigue can stop you. You begin to look at the massive workload not as a burden, but as a privilege. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." When you apply this to your daily grind, you stop wishing the work was easier and start demanding that you become stronger. You look at the crushing pressure of the market and smile, knowing it is squeezing the weakness out of you. You fall in love with the execution. You become an unstoppable force of nature, a machine of output that leaves your competitors paralyzed in your wake, wondering how one human being can generate so much impact before they have even finished their morning commute. Yet, even with the fiercest execution and the sharpest focus, there is a shadow that stalks every single one of us, keeping the ultimate score. This brings us to the final, most chilling, and most liberating piece of this morning contract with life, memento mori. Remember that you must die. I know society tells you to avoid thinking about death, to hide it away in hospitals and whisper about it behind closed doors. They want you to live under the comfortable, pathetic illusion that you have an infinite amount of tomorrows. You don't. The clock is ticking down from the very second you are born, and the sand in your hourglass is slipping through the narrow neck faster than you can possibly comprehend. Death is not some distant event waiting at the end of a long road, it is the silent board member sitting at the table every single morning, auditing your choices and judging your hesitations. If you want to inject a lethal dose of urgency into your veins, you must look death right in the eye every single morning. Let the reality of your own mortality wash over you. Look at your hands. One day, they will be cold and still. Look at your bank account, your business, your followers. When you take your last breath, all of that vanity metrics will evaporate into absolute nothingness. What, then, is the point of it all? The point is the legacy you carve into the fabric of humanity while you still have a pulse. Memento mori is not a depressing thought, it is the ultimate clarion call to action. It strips away the paralyzing fear of failure, the dread of embarrassment, and the anxiety of what other people think. Who cares if you fail? Who cares if someone laughs at your ambitious business plan? In 100 years, you and everyone who ever judged you will be dust. The only thing that remains is the echo of your courage and the impact of the work you left behind. When you frame your morning routine through the lens of your inevitable demise, procrastination becomes not just a bad habit, but an unforgivable sin against your own existence. You realize that you cannot afford to wait until conditions are perfect, until the economy recovers, or until you feel ready. Ready is a lie sold to cowards. You must strike now. You must build that empire today. You must tell the people you love that you love them today. Every single morning you wake up is not a guarantee, it is a miracle, a temporary lease on consciousness granted by a universe that owes you absolutely nothing. Are you going to squander today's miracle scrolling through garbage on your phone, or are you going to wring every last drop of potential out of it? This is the blood contract you must sign with life today. The alarm rings. You reject the dopamine. You embrace the silence. You anticipate the chaos. You attack the work with violent grace. And you do it all under the watchful, sobering gaze of death. You are not just building a career, you are constructing a monument to your own spirit. The world is full of walking corpses, people who died at 25 but won't be buried until they are 75. Do not join their ranks. Rise up from that bed like a warrior stepping onto the final battlefield. Seize this day by the throat. Forge your legacy in the fires of discipline and hard work. Time is running out, my friends. The bell has rung. Now, get out there and make them remember your name. The ultimate architecture of a meaningful, unstoppable life is not built on comfort, cheap dopamine, or the illusion of infinite time. It is forged in the brutal, unforgiving trenches of your daily discipline. By conquering the first hour of your morning and refusing to surrender your mind to the digital noise, you reclaim your sovereignty as an individual. You transition from a reactive consumer to an apex predator. Through premeditatio malorum, you strip the future of its anxiety, mapping out catastrophes before they strike so that you walk into the world clothed in psychological invincibility. When you pair this mental armor with a more fatty, the radical acceptance and love of your daily struggle, you transform grueling work from a burden into the very fuel of your greatness. You stop hesitating and start executing, attacking your most terrifying tasks with violent precision. Finally, the ever-present shadow of memento mori serves as your ultimate catalyst. Acknowledging your own mortality destroys the cowardice of procrastination and forces you to live with blistering urgency. Every morning you wake up is a temporary, fleeting miracle. You are not just going through the motions of an ordinary day, you are fighting a ticking clock to carve your legacy into the fabric of human history. Reject the weakness of the modern world, embrace the silence, anticipate the storm, and execute with absolute ruthlessness. You are the sole architect of your empire. Time is running out. Make every single second count before the hourglass empties. True freedom and power are not granted by society, they are seized through the deliberate choice of hard discipline over cheap comfort. The ultimate cheat code to productivity and peace of mind is not toxic positivity, but rather the courageous acceptance of worst-case scenarios and the stark reality of your own death. When you strip away the illusion that you have unlimited time and infinite chances, fear of judgment vanishes, leaving only the pure, violent urgency to execute your life's purpose. The 60-minute quarantine. Tomorrow morning, do not touch your phone, check emails, or look at social media for the first hour after waking up. Let your brain experience the silence. Tactical anticipation. Before you start working, take a physical pen and paper. Write down 3 specific things that could go wrong today: a delayed project, an angry client, a tech failure, and immediately write down your solution or pivot for each. Eat the frog. Identify the single most difficult, anxiety-inducing task of your day. Lock yourself away with noise-canceling headphones and attack it relentlessly for 90 to 120 minutes before you do any other fake work. The daily audit. Place a visual reminder of memento mori, a coin, a note, or a symbol, on your desk. Whenever you feel the urge to procrastinate, look at it and remind yourself that your time on Earth is strictly limited. What is the one major distraction you are going to eliminate from your morning routine starting tomorrow? Please share your answer and your perspective in the comments section below so our community can learn from one another and build better habits together. If this message resonated with you, please hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription gives us the incredible motivation needed to keep producing high-quality, impactful content that helps you conquer your life.